What's up? I'm Patrick, Save Ferris, guitar, and I'm going to show you my rig. My main guitar that I've been using on this tour is my just American Standard Tele, just because I can really beat the shit out of it, and it's stayed pretty true, pretty straight, intonated, and you know, minimal setup work needed on the road. In terms of strings, I just use 10s. It doesn't really matter the brand. My boys over at Dunlop hooked me up with some strings before we left on the road, and I've pretty much been using those. Mostly I play for ska. I've been playing in the middle position, or I play in the middle position, kind of split. And then for like the harder, chunkier stuff, I'll flip down to the bridge. But tone's always wide open at 10, and volume's pretty much always wide open at 10 also, unless I need to roll it back for like a more dynamic part. But it's harder to play, a lot more strain on my forearm, but it's got that tone, that Fender Tele tone. This is my 68 SG. This I actually flipped out. They weren't PAF pickups, but they were patent pending pickups on the 68. I don't know when they stopped with the PAFs and started stickering on patent pending, but they had a lot of whine and screech to them. I tried to work on them a little bit, so I ended up just replacing them with these kind of pretty cool repros, and sound great. I use this for like all the kind of chunkier, more punk rock songs, because it's got a really good bite and nasty top end to it. And for this, I pretty much always play in the bridge position, except in one of our kind of ska punk rock songs where I'll play in middle also. And it's definitely a lot punchier than the Tele, but with a lot more top end to it. So it's a little bit harder to kind of tame. So I'll usually throw for like the more ska and kind of upstroke stuff, I'll throw the phaser on it. Kind of gives it a nice reggae tone to it. This I wish could be my main guitar, but it is my backup. The only reason it's not my main is because I don't really want to beat it to shit. This is my buddy's company, Echo Park Guitars. It's like the first guitar that I've ever purchased and was able to tell him exactly what I want, exactly how I wanted it. And even though this is like his standard model, I mean, his stuff is just beautiful. The neck is amazing, like the profile of the neck, the way he set it up, just all the way through. Like, this is probably the best guitar I've ever played. And he hand makes these in LA, and he's moving his company to Detroit, and gonna go big time with it, hopefully. I have messed around with many different combos, many different stacks, and this has been far and away, like, I've gotten the best tone out of this combo right here, this particular one that I've had for 5 years now. I don't know what it is. Actually, my buddy from Echo Park Guitars told me, I was having a tone talk with him, and he's like, dude, you just need a fucking clean amp, and then just mess with it with pedals. Just get as clean as you possibly can. So this 410 really gives me that punch that I need with ska, and also kind of carries the tone that we need to kind of have it, cut and sound accurate, Treble, mid, bass, pretty much right dead center at 5. I ride treble kind of depending on the room, 5 to 6. Mid is usually right around 5. And then bass, I'll roll it up a little bit higher to kind of give it a little more ass end that I can feel on stage. I throw a little reverb in it because these guys have the spring reverb in them. They're fantastic. Even on these reissues, they sound great. Better than anything I could do with a pedal, for sure. And I usually keep that right around 2.5. Otherwise it gets really, really springy. Pedals, again, my buddy Brian over at Dunlop hooked me up with some MXR pedals, which I've been really stoked with because they are what they are, and I've noticed that I don't really need to throw a buffer in my signal chain because I'm not getting a lot of signal loss. So in terms of like my more modulated tones, I pretty much just stick with all MXR, if you can tell. Phaser, micro chorus, flanger, and the analog chorus. I only use these two pedals on one song, and I use them together in a loop. And the only reason I use the analog chorus for that as opposed to the micro chorus gives you exactly what it says it's going to give you, and you get one knob, which is basically just rate. Whereas the analog chorus, you can kind of mess with your level and your high lows, and then the speed of your chorus. Whereas the micro chorus just kind of like really like kicks your signal up on top of the mix, and it's kind of hard to control. But it works for 90% of what we play. Carbon copy delay. The blue box, I was initially going to use that for a couple lead parts, and I just haven't really taken it out of the signal chain because I've been kind of happy with the tone I've been getting, so I didn't really want to mess with it too much, and haven't used it, but haven't really experienced any kind of signal loss or tone loss. I have this buffer just in case I need to throw it in, and I haven't needed to throw it in yet. Again, my buddy, Echo Park Guitarist, he does some really cool pedals now, as well as combo amps and some like boutique stacks. This is his dual harmonic boost, which basically one side of it is like a really cool fuzz, the other side is a really cool boost. So and it's literally, you're controlling your output on these two channels here, and then you'll have just a tone. That's it. That's all you got, really. So I'll punch that in when I really need to cut above. And then, last but not least, my Overdrive. This guy in Riverside named Brian Mena. He hand wires these pedals and makes great, like nasty, chunky distortion pedals. It's called King of the Britons. I don't know if he still makes this particular one. I know that he's got one called the King that has, I think it might be 2-channel, so where you can kind of set up 2 different gain structures. But this is just like, this kind of gives me the ability to go from a Marshall stack to like just a pushed, Princeton. Yeah.